Jared Bullinger, we're going to start with you on this next question. You, and I believe Darcy as well, and correct me if I'm wrong, were both very strong supporters of the city getting a grant to match funds to build the new fire station. It's been argued that by not taking that federal money, the city could have had more freedom in the building process and potentially could have built the fire station more efficiently for less cost to the citizens. One citizen asked the following question: given that our nation is $18.3 trillion in debt and the Congress, President, federal authorities are not likely to do anything to reduce it, how do you feel about, in the future, bonding for things we need locally rather than seeking federal grants to fund projects in enterprise?
The grant that came for the fire station was 5 counties grant. A lot of that money is generated from the taxation that's already in place. I look at that grant the exact same way I look at the RAP tax, and you're right, I was very instrumental in doing that, and there have been some additional costs that have incurred because of doing that. However, that tax was going to be charged regardless. We were able to acquire some of that money and bring that money back here for us to use for some of our needs. As far as saying it could be built cheaper without that, that's not correct. We've put all the numbers together. It was a little bit more cost prohibitive because of some of the limitations whenever you deal with some of the federal mandates as far as Davis-Bacon wages and some of that. But I would back it again. As far as getting the money to and bounding for it, that's great. But if we can get a chance to get a piece of our pie back that we're paying anyway, I'm all for it, and I would do it again.
The fire station has arguments on both sides and is a somewhat complicated question. For example, if you don't put in the fire station, then I suppose that affects our insurance rates and premiums. It becomes an issue one way or another. And the fact of the matter is, grants and so forth, that's just the world we live in. And it is true, everyone wants to put their hand in the cookie jar, and eventually there aren't going to be any cookies left, but that's the world we live in.
So the very first meeting for the grant, I went by myself and I told the mayor and Adam, I'm going to go do this. I feel good about this. I'm going to go. And they said, Will, we've tried for this grant. We're not trying to discourage you. We totally support you, but we might not get this grant. We worked our butts off for almost a year. I did the survey, the in-home survey, and the council helped me. Adam did the application. I hate to be honest with you, I believe we probably could have had more freedom if we'd have built it on our own. I don't know how long it would have taken us to get the money to do that. I don't regret doing it. I drive by that fire station and I believe that it's something that our community needed. It's going to provide safety for our little city and the surrounding areas, and with the new fire districts, I think it's going to help us pay for a lot of it. It's hard. Grants are hard. And no, I don't think I want to do that all the time. It was really hard work.
You know, I don't know how relevant it is. It's done. Whether there's a grant, not a grant, the fire station's there. It's going to be finished. So I think it's probably a non-issue.
I support the funding of the building of the fire department 150%. It's an item that was needed. It was on the master plan for the city for years. Money had been put away every year through the budgetary system to go towards the department. But at that rate, it would have taken another 10 or 15 years to have the money to go ahead and fund it. The opportunity came for us to apply through the 5 county, which the city did. There was, like Darcy said, that survey that was done house to house was very time consuming. I know my wife and myself had the opportunity to participate in that and go out and talk to the residents on that. And it was absolutely heartwarming to hear the ones that we talked to, the support and how they felt that it was important for the city to go ahead and go for that funding and to get the funding and move forward with our fire department to house all of our equipment that unfortunately sits outside right now.
Yes.
As Jared kind of alluded to, by us having that fire station, it does assist us with our fire rating. our fire rating affects each and every one of us as far as how much we pay in our individual homeowners insurance. And we've got as good a fire rating as some of the very large cities within the state, and that is thanks to the volunteers that are on our fire department, and also to things like our fire station. They're able to give us that coverage. So yeah, there's arguments both ways, but we all benefit and will benefit from it greatly.
Me too. I want to tell you guys, we had to do like 209, I believe, households. I did around just over 100 of those. I did not have one person tell me no. And I don't think a lot of people know me, and I show up at their house and I'm asking them I need to know what you make. Put it in this envelope and seal it. I promise I won't look, And I did not have one person in the community tell me no. I wanted anybody and everybody here that participated just to say thank you, and thank you for being welcoming and letting me in.
Follow-up question, and I'm going to direct it to you, Jared. If anybody else wants to answer it, please. Jared Bollinger. If anybody else wants to answer it, go ahead and feel free. But you made the comment that the tax is going to be charged regardless, that we need to get our piece of the pie. And the citizen who submitted the question, that's the kind of rhetoric that she doesn't like to hear. Instead of us saying, hey, we're being charged the tax, why don't we say, instead take back to 5 counties and say, hey, why are we being charged this tax? If we want a fire station, we'll bond for a fire station. How do you answer that?
You can go back and you can fight against the tax, but it's never going to change. 5 counties, the taxing that is there, that is in place, is going to be charged, regardless. I mean, I think, none of us really like the fact of being taxed, but it's not going to change. It's going to be there. And some people may not like, the get our piece of the pie, but I don't think there's any clearer way to put it. It's going to be charged. We're each going to pay it. Let's get some of it back for us.
Also, to respond to that, when you talk about the bonding, if we go out and we bond for things, there's going to be an increase in property taxes to pay for that bond. And this is one thing that the city looks at very, very hard, is it's been, I don't know how long since there has been a property tax increase for the people and the residents of Enterprise. And it's because of the way the city does their business and funds the projects, that they try to do it in a manner that does not create undue hardship on families. Bonding would create a hardship. Going through the 5 county, that is a grant that's given to us. It does not have to be paid back. And it's definitely a source to keep the cost down to the residents.
Any other responses?